Thank you for joining us. Today we'll talk about data storytelling and Sumana will present it. I would like to ask you to mute your mics, and if you have any questions, leave them in the chat so we can get back to them after Sumana's presentation. And I would like also to remind you that this session is recorded. Hello. Okay.
Right.
Sumana?
Yeah, thank you, Shabit. Hi. Let's start. Thanks for everybody to jump on the bus with us today. Subject today is about storytelling with data. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Sumana. I'm chemical engineer. I have master degree in international business and industrial development. And through the journey of my career, I worked in crude oil procurement and contracting department. After that, I worked in the engineering team to do design engineering of refinery. I did cost control, and it's at the time that I was in the Netherlands for a year with this project. After that, then I went back to Thailand to do the refinery startup operate for a while, and then I came back here again in the Netherlands to be consultant, and I take care of supply chain planning and scheduling, and I'm also do data and information management. And as a consultant, we don't give consultant only to our own refinery. We give consultant to client around the world, and I spend a lot of time in foreign country. And after that, I work as an IT manager in the first ever LNG terminal in the Netherlands. I implement and manage IT department, and the only that I know successfully implement service-oriented architect. And right now, I'm the data science head coach at the SkillsUp Lab. Sorry, can you mute that? Who just coming in? Can you mute your mic? Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I'm just introduce myself for those who just coming in. I just talk about myself where I'm been through in my career, and I'm at this stage where I am data science head coach at the SkillsUp Lab, and I'm the lead IT of Do Good Only. And at the SkillsUp Lab, what we do was we help people develop the skills in working with data, and that's why today I'm talking about data storytelling. Before we dive in, can you note down your objective, what you want to take home today from this session? You just write in the chat. Yeah, so at least you can go back and look, do you really meet your objective of you coming today? But here is my objective. My objective is I want to give you a glimpse of what makes someone a data scientist, what a data scientist uses, and I want you to go through with me with the journey of the data storytelling process. There's a term of the data science, like a buzzword lately in a few years ago, it's just start booming. I hope I will tell you a bit about that story. Okay, why data science? Many people ask me why I did data science. After I did the IT job, I just stopped working for a while, and I look for now new inspiration. And by that time, I have this interesting course coming up. Actually, Kalala is the one that organizing this, and it's about data science. And I just subscribed to that, and I think I'm hooked since then. And that is since in 2 years ago in April that I started, and I just fall in love with it. Now, why is that? I have another inspiration. I have this role model, Professor Hans Rosling. I saw him in TED Talk. The visual was so good at the time that I saw, and I was told that they used Python to create that visual. And at that time, many, many years ago, I think that one was in 2007, I never heard of Python before. At that time, we wrote Fortran, we used Visual Basic, never heard of Python before. And he's telling story in a very nice way. And this is also one of the comments that people gave from the audience. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him. You can find his talk in the TED Talk. You can search for TED Talk and put his name in, and this is a short video that introduced you to his work. I will show you a small clip of this, but by doing that, I will really have to boost up a bit the sound, or you also have to boost up the sound. Yeah, I will start doing super hard now with this. Right. And let me see if I boost this up. It will be 2 minutes short clips. And I will start now. I hope you're ready. Boost up your earphone sound. Here we go.
On this axis, I'm showing dollar per person in income. And the size of these bubbles, the size of the bubbles here, that shows how many are infected in each country. And the color is the continent. Now you can see United States, 1983, had a very low percentage infected, but due to the big population, still a sizable bubble. There were quite many people infected in the United States. And up there you see Uganda. They had almost 5% infected, and quite a big bubble in spite of being a small country then. And they were probably the most infected country in the world. Now, what has happened? Now you have understood the graph, and now in the next 60 seconds, we will play the HIV epidemic in the world. But first, I have a new invention here. I have solidified the beam of the laser pointer. So, ready, steady, go. First, we had a fast rise in Uganda and Zimbabwe. They went upwards like this. In Asia, the first country to be heavily infected was Thailand. They reached 1 to 2%. And then Uganda started to turn back, where Zimbabwe skyrocketed. And some years later, South Africa had a terrible rise of HIV frequency. Look, India got many infected, but had a low level, and almost the same happens here. See Uganda coming down, Zimbabwe coming down, Russia went to 1%. In the last 2 to 3 years, we have reached a steady state of the HIV epidemic in the world. 25 years it took. But steady state doesn't mean that things are getting better. It's just that they have stopped getting worse.
Right. Okay. I will put my sound down a bit. All right. I hope you get impression like I have. And just flashback a bit. That was in 2007. And 2007, you all still probably be a baby. And at that time, in each meeting, we still went in with the paper presentation, and we still use the computer. We'd have a 3.5-inch floppy disk. And when you see this, how can you do this? Jebit, can you take care of that for Tinsu? Thank you. Now, so if you see this slide in 2007, you will just say, okay, how can they do that? At that time, I don't know what tool that they use. They say Python. Okay, it's just programming language. And you see what the dimension he has here. He explained he has income, dollar per person in the X scale. He got HIV in the Y scale. That is generally the plot we do at a time. We have only X and Y. End of story. That's it. And he add actually 3 more dimensions in here. He got population as a bubble size, and he also add color dimension. Actually 6 year, and then he get the name of the country. Wow, how can he do it? Right. So source is called gapminder.org. I think they really have a talented people who help developing this for him for this TED Talk. But that was in year 2007. Now, let's say this is today. You see, this one is a gapminder.org. I will play this slide also. This is, you can see this sample. If you follow the link on the top, gapminder.org, and you just want to play with it to see how it evolved since 2007. let's see how it does. This one is about life expectancy. It's not the HIV, but the effect still remarkable the same. Just let look. How does this go? Yeah. You have the year, you have the color. What missing is a country name in here. And yeah, look at that. Right. I just also have fun every time I look at this one. And I'm thinking, how can I make this thing myself? This kind of presentation can be from any number that I have, from data that I have year, that I can just show this kind of movement and tell the story. So that's my inspiration. Right. So what do I need to replicate that visual? Thinking. What is it? Then there's a bubble chart with animation. Okay, then what bubble chart is? Bubble chart is scatter chart with X and Y. That chart, they have income as an X-axis and they have life expectancy as a Y-axis. What another dimension? Bubble size, Z, population. That's the third one. Fourth one, continent in color. And the fifth one is an animation. It's in a year. Right. Good. That's in my storyboard. But now I want to tell story. Not only that story, this story that I'm talking to you right now. Okay, I want to tell story about how I make that. So what do I have? First, I have to think of the story, what I want to tell you. So I already tell you that's my inspiration. I want to create something very much the same what he did. And people, I have to know a little bit audience. I think you're interested in data science because this is a community that normally we talk data. And people, it's me who will make it happen. And the medium will be today is a webcast, sort of, not a slide presentation, a projector. And I need data. I need data to support and tell my story. But then with the data, I have to work with it. I need a tool. And I have to have the process, how I work with my tool. So I have to clean my data, transforming it, and visualizing it, put in medium, try my story, make my story, and I can tell my story. So that's my key component, and that's a process that to go. And I didn't draw any line here from A to B or where to go, because sometimes it has a loop. You go back there and you come here again. It's really thinking process going in my head. Okay, first start. Just grab some static bubble chart from Gapminder so I can compare if I already succeed in create the same chart. Just static, 1 year only. First. So this is the link that I went to. There is a poster called Gapminder and the data year 2015. Fine. And this one, it looked like that. And to make life simple, because they said they have data for me, so I download these 3 data sets. Voila. I got the first element, data. So what next? I work with data in Python. I start with Python because 2007, they said he did that in Python. So I just want to live back there. I say, okay, what hardship do I have? So I filtered the year 2015. And what I did, I load data in and I use Jupyter Notebook when I work with Python because it's quite nice that I can run by cell blocker. And when I finish, I can even send it to someone. So I load data, and what I use a Panda library. I load it first, and in here it uses a PD. You import pandas as PD, and then you can use PD as a represent of that module. So I read 3 files in there, and I set country as an index. Just I don't like 1, 2, 3, 4. Country is already unique identifier, so that's how I like it. And by doing that, I can stack it side by side here. So I do the concat. So I stack it together side by side. And because I already put it in index here as a country, so I can stack it, and yeah, it knows that this country has the same data, so they stack it for me. And then I double check that generally in the process, you do the data cleaning and then load and clean. So I have new, so I have to clean it. So I just drop new. And from that, I just export data. Why do I export? Because, well, nowadays I have many tools. And I said, okay, fine. I'm live in 2020. I also have many tools. I want to see how good it is in producing this kind of stuff. So I just try a few. So I export that data in CSV format. And first tool I use is Excel. Right? It look nice, 3-dimensional bubble chart, fine, but I couldn't figure out how to give color to bubble chart based on country name. It's so long that struggling and that, okay, that's it. If it takes that long, that's not my tool. So I try another one, step up to Power BI with the same data, CSV. That is easier. You can see, but it's so many color. Right, fine. So Power BI can do that. Noted. Next, Google Sheet. Right? You know, Google Sheet, if you have Google account, you have this sheets that you use, but Google Sheet is like an online web-based. So yeah, you don't want to work with super big data, but for this one, it's okay. And I say, oh, it's very fast, faster. I can find a way to go around fast. The color is much nicer also than Power BI. And I can put x-axis in log scale. So now, then I have that one, let's test. How is it compared to original one? Well, look reasonable, right? Fine. So I think static one is good. I found possibility. But next, I need country to map to continent because that another dimension that he asked, he doesn't have color based on the country name. He has the color based on continent, but I have only data set that has only the country name and all the data, 3 columns. So I have to go get somewhere. And this is a part that in general being data science is normal, where you have to go grab data somewhere and yeah, manually create mapping table. So I go grab data from UN. I just make a mapping table. You see this spreadsheet not automatic. I also download this spreadsheet from UN. It's dirty. You can look at it. So how can you make it? You just have to load it, clean it. And I just do manually. Sometimes it's easier to do things manually than just try to do programmatically. So this one, I just do in Excel. Copy, paste, unique data only, and just choose the column I want. That's it. Now, I have already the previous CSV. I have a column of the country and life expectancy, income, population. Now I have to add the continent to data set. So same thing, load data of this country in, and I merge. So this time you can see that because I did this country as an index and this country as index, so I guarantee myself in the back of my head that I won't make mistake in merging. Okay, then again, I export data because I want to try to still using it with another application to try. But now I also want to do it in this Python, and Python, I have something that I have to do extra. I have to change continent to number. The reason was that what I planned to use in Python was the primitive one, the matplotlib pyplot is super primitive one that they use, or flashback again in 2007. They should have only this one. So okay, let's try. So I have to convert that. So now you have continent that is in the number, because then as a number, then you can map that number to color code, and then you can have a color. Now, look at that. I did that with Python using Pyplot. So I have here, I import the library, matplotlib pyplot as plot, make a size, and I said plot scatter plot. I have X as income, Y is life expectancy, and Z is S is size, is population, and the size look too bad. It's super big, so I reduce it by factor of 300,000. So it's come out like this. And color it per continent, right? Now, I still have issue because this one is very primitive. So I don't even know how I want to add the label to give that this color belong to which continent. So I'm stuck. I can't do that. I keep searching Google. It takes ages. I still can't produce good result. So okay, fall back to some other thing else. Now, they got new one coming in. Plotly. Python is a general purpose programming language. And there are people who build library, who build super function that you can use. And yeah, if Pyplot doesn't work, someone also said, oh, to heck, I build myself something else. So here, someone make a Plotly, and I can just do Plotly, and voila, I get it. But anyway, because it's Plotly, I have to convert this numerical back to the text to have it project or display correctly here. Otherwise, it's going to have like a heat map instead of the round dot. Now, look okay. Let's look how it is compare. Not bad, huh? Yeah, so Plotly is good because it's very new, primitive. Yeah, Pyplot, probably I have to do more programming in there. I'm not that good, so fine. Yeah, I stick with Plotly. And okay, let's try Power BI. Now more creative. You see what I can do more? I can choose color, marker shape myself in there. I can change shape of the marker itself. And of course, I can plot on log scale. You can see, okay, but it doesn't look that nice, but just to show that I can, right? Same, yeah, a spread looks same, so correctness is good. Now, still in Google Sheet, I still can do it likewise, but it is web-based. Yeah, it's a little bit slower, but yeah, I can live with that. It's free. Okay, now I got the static one done, 1 year, 2015. Now what I need to do is I have to have all year in there, not only 2015. So I need all year data plus continental map in there, and then I can start doing the loop on animation. So same thing, I load data in, but now I restructure is different. The way I restructure here, I put the year on this. The origin data, you have the year as a column. Now I put it in this, the whole thing in here, the year as one column, not spread over like as a column 118, 118, one as each column. And using this format, I then stack each file on top of each other. Because if I don't have consistent on the data set, and then I don't have error, because when you stack things on top of each other, it just add row, so it's fine. But if you have to map column, then it's a little bit tricky, and you cannot add column if your year has 118 spread to the year 2040 as a column also, that won't work. So this format, and I stack it on other vertical stack, and I just merge it with the country, right? So this is the code I use. And as usual, I export file. So what next do I do? Let's try. No, Excel is out. I don't want Excel anymore. I can't work with it. So here, continue in Plotly. Now I have every year in here. And you see the code here. What is here is animation frame. I make it a year. Right? Everything the same. I have income, life expectancy, population, color, continent. Let's play. I just clip. But yeah, one thing missing is I don't have the year that keep, running in background to say what year. But you see a little bit at the bottom here, the year that moved is there. But in the original one, I see they got a big year in the behind. That it look nice. That this I cannot do much. It's off the shelf. Fine. This is in Python, Plotly. Piece of cake, right? With the data set done. Okay, now how about Power BI? So I import data in Power BI, and I have to transport it. Not transport. Let's call it pivot. These 3 columns: population, income, life expectancy. I have to pivot it. In the original data set, it all in one column called category with the population, income, life expectancy here, and you got value. So now I make pivot out of that, so I can call it a column X, Y, and Z in here. And right, let's try. So just also call it the bubble chart and put the play column, this one, and here we go. I will make it it will be 2 minutes run. So I will go a little bit skip some of them, right? So you see, okay, life expectancy going up. This one 1920, and ooh, the color is Europe. We have a lot of data of Europe. Life expectancy going up slowly. We have some Asia coming up, but life expectancy 50, but income growing so fast. What does he do? What did he do? Why did he get so much money? Which country is that? And that's after the war, 1950, 1956. More country in Asia coming up, and yeah, they're still not very long living, but they got a lot of money. What happening? They earn a lot of money. Okay, Europe get high life expectancy, but yeah, their income not that much compared to the Asia. This is a few country. What happened? 1980, 1983, 84. Right. And where is America? Okay, America just come out somewhere in 1990s. I think that bubble should be America. And ooh, Asia still give a lot of money and life expectancy. Yay, cake. One of the Asia life expectancy go up to 80. I don't know which country is that. Where are we? 2013. Now look at that. Yeah, Africa still in the on the left quartile. Yeah, interesting. And I think now it's a projection. Now, yay. They also have projection from the data set. Huh. What do you think? Did I do a little bit close enough? Yay, success. I love it. Now I can tell a story a bit like Professor Hans. Yeah. Okay. Now, that's the story I want to tell. That's my success. I can tell story. I can make it. And that's the tool I choose. Normally, when I make presentation, recommend for everybody when you do some kind of presentation, you do self-reflect. It's just lifelong learning. You never stop. So, how do you think? How do you feel? How it went? For me, it's not about presentation, because for me, it's also how I prepare those data. I have fun with it. And yeah, well, I think I feel it went well. I expect I could have done more with Excel, but I just said, okay, never mind. So probably I go back and check if I can do more with it. Yeah. What could I done different to make it better? Yeah, I think I don't like color that come with the Power BI, and yeah, I have to test a few more. If they have a template, they give me a nicer color in there. And if you notice, oh, I didn't do it in log scale. I didn't check if I possibly can do it or not. I didn't do it yet, so I have to check. Right. What are you proud of? I'm proud of knowing that Python can do that, but not with the primitive one. So that's a knowing also that, okay, what he achieved in 2007 with some people who did that. And you probably can call those people the data science people. Wow, that achievement is so great. And what I learned from preparing and delivering this presentation, I wait until I hear the feedback from you. What do I share next time? I probably share story. Indeed, I will tell more. But I'm not sure yet what story I will tell. So, before you go, at the start, I'm mentioning that I will give you a glimpse of what is data science buzzword. And for me, data science is something data scientists do. And then, what is data scientist? Data scientist, the definition I like more is from Dr. Patil. Is a U.S. chief data scientist. I think I get that from the document book that IBM has about data scientists. And he said data scientist is that unique blend of skills that can both unlock the insights of data and tell a fantastic story via the data. You see one thing about this statement, he doesn't see data scientist has to be PhD graduate. It doesn't need to be what nationality, what age, what gender. It's nothing about that. It's about skills. Yeah, and skills. And you have to tell people data insight, and you can tell fantastic story. And if you can do that, you're also data scientist. But by saying that, data scientist has a key ingredient of success. And he has to have curiosity, have to keep asking questions, have to keep wondering what can be done next, what else, what just have to keep asking, lifelong learning, keep learning, creativity. Kid think about in 2007, if they just say, I just plot X and Y, that's it, end of story. And then I would have that gap minder like that. And yeah, that thing won't exist. You see that creativity coming in, tenacity. If it doesn't work this way, shall we work different? Get it until it's done. That is a data scientist key ingredient of success. And what about data storytelling? I bring you on the journey with me. First, what do? I ask myself what I want to tell. I want to tell you the story about Professor Hans telling that remarkable story, and he has that slide that I love to do. And then I sequence my data story back there and the process of how I get it until here. And I choose the tool, and probably it is a little bit dictate that it's a webcast, and the tool I choose to use PowerPoint. I didn't choose to show you Python itself, Power BI itself, or Excel itself. I choose this tool, and I select and collect data that support data story. I create visual, and I tell story with thoughtful combination of text. And I have one dry run, and I have 2 days after to do more work to go to this what you see today. So it's just not without sweat and tear, and this is a process I've been through. So I'm come to the last slide. If you're interested in learning data science, our new group start August 31st, 2020. And this is our link. And by that note, I will stop sharing and welcoming any question.
Thank you, Sumana. Very useful
Yes.
information. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We would like to get your feedback too. But we have a question from Deva. Can you hear me?
Yes. Let me set my boot. Yeah, good. Yeah.
Okay, the question is, can you please explain how to read the plot?
How to read the plot. Right, let's try. Let me bring you to which tool you want to see? Let me show you this one, fun. Let's do the static one. Let me share this one with you.
And scatter plot.
Let me scatter plot. Let me share hold on a second. Oops, where am I? Here. Let me share. Let's do which one? Let's do this one then. Power BI. Right. Right. It's a little bit flashing in my screen. Can you see anything? Did you see Power BI coming up? No, I stopped sharing. Let me do it. It doesn't share. Okay, let me share all, because that one, it doesn't share. Share entire screen. Share. Did you see anything on the screen? Okay.
Yes.
Did you see something? Yes, sir?
Yes, the visual, the bubbles.
Okay, the bubble, because I don't see in another screen of me. That's weird.
Yes, that's
Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, because I have another computer on and I don't see that on the screen, but fine. This one is in Google Sheets. Google Sheets, you see there is a 3 column here. Right. So country, population, income, life expectancy. And this one I use the 2019 data to plot. And the way to read this, the scatter plot in general, you have in a statistic, you want to compare X and Y only, right? So you compare X and Y as a coordinate. The reason you do scatter plot because you want to find correlation between X and Y data. So if the two has correlation, if it's the linear, then like X equal 1, Y equal 1, X equal 2, Y equal 2, you have a straight line. Huh? Or if it have a relationship like a curve, exponential, or whatever shape it is, it will show you. Or if it doesn't have any relationship at all, it will show you. So this one, if you see, you can see a little bit like a almost straight line with the angle here. But this is in the sense the X scale is income and life expectancy. So you can tell only scatter first, X and Y. So the more income, the higher life expectancy it can be, right? So that's how you read the graph because it's linear. But then you have he introduced a third dimension, just to display the population as a size of a bubble. So it just gives some dimension, but it how to say, the relationship between life expectancy and the income is a basic that you want to look at, that it has relation, but they can give you the idea of doesn't necessarily be in a country with big population that have big money, sort of. It gives you another dimension. Yeah. And the color also give you a bit idea of which continent, but this one is a basic one with the country. Is it answer how to read the chart? Right? I hope I answered
Yes,
that one.
yes.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay. Then I stop this one. And anybody want something else? Any more question, Jabit? Do you have another question?
I don't see any more questions, guys. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat. If
Uh,
not,
I can show a little bit in the Jupyter notebook. If you want to see, that's also fine. If you want to see in Python, if for people who doesn't know how the Jupyter notebook look like, right? So I show you the Google Sheets. I think everybody should know Google Sheet because you have Google account. It's for free, but because it's free and it like a web based, it won't take a lot of data. And when you start working with big data, it starts to a little bit slow down and not responsive. Okay, let me share again. Then the Chrome tab. Right, get my the Jupyter notebook. Right, I'm sharing Jupyter notebook. Do you have any something up on screen now, people?
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
Okay,
we can
good,
see.
good. Okay, now this is a Jupyter notebook. What you call Jupyter notebook? It's like a front end interface for you, so that you can write a program in the language called Python, and they have the thing run in the background that called Python kernel. So it's like behind. But this one is it's not compiling in the background, so it really like a runtime. When you load it, it run for you. It's not like a computer application that you have to compile and run it. That's why it's so powerful. It's interactive. And the first thing when you work with Python is Python is general purpose. It can even do the like you can type in there. You can even calculate in there. It can be anything. But you have to know what you want to do, then you can choose the right tool within the Python. So this one, I know that I want to work with this data set, so I will use this Panda. And this is a plot that I said I want to try first, because in 2007 what I thought that professor is doing with, and I know how to read the file that I use the method that belong to this Panda. And this then I check the data that I got. So you see this is a format that coming in. It had this column as a year, and I have to make sure that I have the column name as a string. Otherwise, it can confuse because the index also a number. So these are some small basic. And I check if that got some null, mean whatever missing, then I not have, then okay, I don't need to deal with it. And this is, I do all three of them and I put them all together and filter it as per year. So this is a code that you do in there, right? Yeah, that's what I show in my slide. And this is also how you can do statistic, check statistic. Now to plot, so because Python has this capability to do anything, but you have to import like a function first. So first I import the tool that I can work with data, but now I have to import the tool to plot the graph. So this one is import to plot the graph. So I just have this plot, and when with this plot, I call the method, and then I show the graph. So this is how it go with the program. And okay, I need more data. I go grab more. I add more. So it's one by one, you know, in the head, it's keep going. Okay, what do I do next? What do I do first? But the end game, what I know, right? Okay, I want to be able to plot the graph. So all of that checking and this mapping, changing is in the background, right? And every line here that you write the code in Jupyter Notebook, you can run it and you can see the result. Yeah, so this one that I show in the slide, so this is the one that I do. Okay, a plot okay, and this is not very good because if I don't use this divided by this number, the just graph it look very funny. And then I use another library also, Seaborn, because I'm saying, okay, I want to look at this legion, but yeah, I'm not happy. Look how ugly it is. And then I look like Plotly, the latest one that I found it. You know, so it's a little bit journey also, not that in one go you get the right tool. But if you know already, then you can go straight to that tool. But if you're not sure which tool, you just have to try, right, until you get the right tool. So at this moment, I get it Plotly. Say, okay, this one works. So okay, fine. Then I stick to that. Yeah. Okay, stop sharing. That's about the tool. So you don't know which tool.
No, we've got another question.
Yes.
Ahmed is asking if English language usage in data storytelling in the Netherlands, or is English used widely, or Dutch? Which one is preferred mostly in the companies when about data storytelling?
It depends which company you work with, right? Right. I'm data storytelling when I work as a consultant. You talk certainly in Holland, so you have to. You remember in my slide, I show you the one element, the key component is a people. So it's also about your audience. It's not about you. So you have to do research. Who is your audience? And if you know that their preference is Dutch, then you have to try to do it in Dutch. But if you're not really fluent in that language, it's of course okay to do in English, but you just can slot in a bit during your presentation. I think it kills it works. I did that all the time. Like I use it, so I use cake, it move. Oh, it just those kind of little keyword. And if you try to impress people too much, and you lose yourself, so the effect also not good. It will show like you're not confident. So you're confident what you want to display. You want to show that you're confident and competent technically. This is not a kind like a language competency, may I say. So for me, I will choose English because I'm more confident and I can how to say, display my competency in technically better in English. Is that answer? But anyway, in some country, like when I work in Russia at NoGo, in some country, I have to translate it, and I have to translate it with me. So it's more work than just say it now. So I have to do ahead. prepare it, dry run with translator, prepare slide in Russia, talk it with translator, and I have to talk, wait for translator to translate, and just it's more work than this, but it has to be done. More question?
I don't see any other questions.
Okay. So I hope your take home is something interesting. If you never see it before, now you see it. If you know it already, at least it reminds you what you already know. And if you're interested in to know more or to join our class, our new class open in the end of August, SkillsUp Lab, you can talk to Jebit or Caroline. Right, I'm the head coach, and we have many students who graduate already. And yeah, and please, you are all welcome. Right.
Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Sumana, for the
Yeah.
presentation. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yep. Thank you for coming. Thank you.
Everyone,